Raymond Burr was a towering figure in television. Perry Mason Ironside, a man with a commanding voice and quiet charm. But what the world didn't see was the life he was forced to hide. In an era where the truth could destroy your career, Raymond Burr carried a secret that only a few ever truly knew. Do you think old Hollywood did more harm than good to its stars behind the scenes? Comment 1 if yes or 0 if you think it was just the price of fame. So let's dive in. Raymond Burr navigates Hollywood while hiding his sexuality. Raymond Burr lived a professional life shrouded in secrecy. His commanding presence as TV's most famous attorney masked a personal reality that could have instantly ended his career if it came to light. Burr created detailed stories about his personal life that became so deeply rooted they appeared as facts even in his obituaries. The Hollywood studio system of the mid-20th century ruled actors' lives like a dictatorship. Performers who signed contracts gave up control of everything, from their weight to their wardrobes, from their public image to their private relationships. This control hit gay actors especially hard. The Los Angeles Police Department's notorious Vice Squad made life scary for gay bar patrons, even after these establishments became legal in California in 1951. Gay actors knew exposure meant their careers would end. AP reporter Bob Thomas later explained, "That was a time in Hollywood history when homosexuality was not countenanced. If it was revealed at that time in Hollywood history, it would have been very difficult for him to continue." Studio heads like Harry Cohn at Columbia Pictures and Darryl F. Zanuck at 20th Century Fox stood out for their open homophobia. Their system demanded fake heterosexuality from their stars. Many actors ended up in lavender marriages, fake straight marriages to protect their marketable public image. Stars who didn't play along faced career-ending consequences. William Haynes, once one of MGM's biggest box office stars, got blacklisted after he refused Louis B. Mayer's order to leave his partner and enter a fake straight marriage. These examples showed Burr that his career survival depended on absolute discretion. Burr created an elaborate backstory filled with tragedies to dodge questions about his personal life. He claimed marriage to Annette Sutherland, who supposedly died in a plane crash. He made up a son named Michael who allegedly died from leukemia at age 10. As his Perry Mason fame grew, he added another fictional wife, Laura Andrina Morgan, who he said died of cancer right after their 1955 marriage. The truth was simpler. Burr had one short legal marriage to Isabella Ward in 1948 that lasted months and ended in divorce by 1952. His made-up tragedies became so accepted that the New York Times included them in his obituary. Reporters who dug into these areas met Burr's standard response, "I don't discuss that." This simple defense worked amazingly well. Producer Art Marks noted, "I think the wives and the loving women the Natalie Wood thing were a bit of a cover." Barbara Hale, one of Burr's closest friends on the Perry Mason set, knew little about his supposed tragic past. Burr used his intense work schedule as another shield against personal questions. Asked about staying unmarried, he said, "I am an unmarried man, as opposed to a single man. I'm working 18 hours a day and sometimes don't come home from the studio at all." This excuse rang partly true. He slept just 4 hours nightly and often stayed in CBS's 3-room studio bungalow instead of making the long drive home. Publicists set up fake dates between Burr and new actresses to strengthen his straight image. Gossip writer Hedda Hopper, whose son William played Perry Mason's private eye, protected Burr's secret in her popular columns. The tabloid Confidential threatened exposure in 1961, but the story changed from "Raymond Burr hooks up with gay male bartender" to "Raymond Burr unknowingly kisses a drag queen." Burr's biographer Michael Seth Starr noted, "He was on television from 1957 to 1977, almost non-stop. You knew his characters, but you didn't really know anything about him personally." This careful separation between public and private life let Burr achieve rare success as a gay actor in leading TV roles, something almost impossible for openly gay performers back then. Starr added, He was able to keep everything under wraps while he was alive because he was so well liked and respected. In spite of that, hiding his true self must have taken its toll. It must have been quite a burden carrying that around and thinking that if your secret gets out, your career could get ruined. Rock Hudson. Raymond Burr's most talked about rumored relationships involved Rock Hudson, who became Hollywood's best-known closeted gay actor. Both men had to direct their way through the dangerous world of early Hollywood stardom and kept their true identities hidden before Burr became famous as Perry Mason. Burr and Hudson came from the same generation of actors who knew being gay could destroy their careers. Robert Hoffler's 2005 book, The Man Who Invented Rock Hudson, The Pretty Boys and Dirty Deals of Henry Wilson, claims these actors threw gay parties at a rented house in Palm Springs. This private space lets them be themselves away from Hollywood's prying eyes. Their lives ran parallel tracks. Burr made up stories about tragic marriages, and Hudson got into a fake marriage to hide who he was. Rock Hudson hid his sexuality for years and even married a woman to hide it, according to an industry source. Both men felt they had no choice but to create fake straight relationships. Their careers also followed similar paths. They worked hard to build images as leading men with traditional masculine appeal. Hudson played the perfect romantic lead opposite stars like Doris Day. Burr started by playing threatening villains before he switched to heroic roles. The better they got at showing these macho images, the harder they had to work to keep their made-up personal lives going. These men lived with the pain of hiding their true selves from the public eye. Angela Lansbury later said about actors from their time, "We know there were certain aspects of their lives that weren't necessarily one thing or another, but in those days they were such icons in the movies that nobody bothered, and certainly it never occurred to the public, I'm sure." A Hollywood code of silence helped keep Burr and Hudson's rumored relationship secret. Stars could keep their distance from public attention back then, unlike today's world of constant social media exposure. They built relationships with powerful gossip columnists who helped protect their public image. The gossip columnists were all-powerful in early Hollywood, and Burr made friends with Hedda Hopper, who helped keep his sexuality a secret. A biographer explains, Hudson's agent Henry Wilson, who was also gay, worked non-stop to protect his client's reputation. Hollywood insiders knew about their relationship, but the public remained unaware. One source reveals about Burr, despite the pains he took to maintain his cover story, he took Natalie Wood out on some well-publicized dates leading to rumors of a romance between them. Burr could be careless. Other gay actors in Hollywood helped protect each other, like Clifton Webb, Raymond Burr, Vincent Price, and later Richard Chamberlain and Tab Hunter, to name a few. Ross and Jacques stayed closeted. One account mentions about others in their circle who lived similar double lives. Both actors took occasional risks despite knowing public exposure would ruin their careers. Burr showed up at a premiere with a wide-eyed young sailor whom Burr refers to as "this fine young man." These moments show how they balanced secrecy with authenticity. Burr's biographer Michael Seth Starr points out why Burr faced less scrutiny than Hudson. Somehow, Burr was able to fly under the radar. He wasn't the leading man type like Rock Hudson, so he was able to avoid that kind of scrutiny. Still, both men knew what they risked with their secret relationship. Hudson's death from AIDS in 1985 brought his sexuality into national headlines. This news must have hit Burr hard as a reminder of what coming out could mean. He kept his own secret until the end, likely thinking often about the man who shared his early struggles in Hollywood's complex world. Tab Hunter. The complex web of Hollywood's beard dating system caught both Raymond Burr and Tab Hunter in its grip during the 1950s. These two closeted actors shared an unexpected connection through rising starlet Natalie Wood. Their struggles with studio-manufactured heterosexuality showed the harsh reality of that era's oppressive system and its personal toll. The 18-year-old Wood became an unwitting player in Hollywood's elaborate scheme to maintain gay actors' public heterosexual images during the late 1950s. Studios sent Wood on highly publicized dates with closeted actors. This strategy served two purposes. Wood got valuable publicity while rumors about certain actors' sexualities were suppressed. These fake dating scenarios worked well for everyone involved. Wood's career got more exposure. Studios protected their valuable male stars, and Wood's real relationship with Robert Wagner stayed hidden from public view. Raymond Burr and Tab Hunter both played their parts in this charade. Burr, at 38 and physically imposing, made an odd match for the petite 17-year-old Wood. People saw right through this unusual pairing. Hunter, on the other hand, seemed more believable as Wood's romantic interest. His blonde, conventionally handsome looks and smaller age gap of 8 years helped sell the story. The story takes an interesting turn with Burr's reaction to Warner Brothers' decision. The studio chose to promote Hunter's relationship with Wood more than Burr's staged romance with her. Robert, Benavides, Burr's eventual life partner, said he was a little bitter about it. He was really in love with her, I guess. This hints at either real feelings developing from their arranged dates or Burr's frustration at being seen as less marketable than Hunter. Both actors faced immense pressure from this system. Hunter's arranged dates happened right after a close call with career disaster, his arrest in an infamous homosexual raid. This brush with exposure made his fake heterosexual image even more crucial. Hollywood reporter Bob Thomas described Burr's sexuality as an open secret that needed careful management through these public acts. These fake relationships often served multiple purposes. The dates not only protected Burr and Hunter, but also helped hide Wood's real relationship with actor Robert Wagner, whom she later married. This created a complex web of deception that helped various parties while reinforcing Hollywood's strict heterosexual expectations. Burr and Hunter shared more than their experience with Wood. They lived similar lives as closeted gay actors in a hostile industry. Hunter reportedly dated actor Anthony Perkins during this time, adding another layer of secrecy. This information came to light decades later after both men had stepped away from public life. Photos later emerged showing Hunter and Perkins on arranged double dates. They sat next to each other in movie theaters with their female dates on the outside. One account notes that everyone looks miserable in these staged moments. These images show the emotional cost these arrangements had on everyone involved. Hunter chose a different path than Burr, who never publicly acknowledged his homosexuality. Hunter broke his silence in his 2005 autobiography, Tab Hunter Confidential. His book focused mainly on his relationship with Perkins and later partner Alan Glazer, but it helped explain the elaborate deception system he shared with Burr and others. These two men's different approaches to their sexuality. Burr keeping his heterosexual facade until death. Hunter eventually embracing openness, shows the tough choices gay actors faced in their generation. Hunter's honesty later helped us understand the pressures faced by the Perry Mason star and his peers. These arranged relationships weren't just personal compromises, they were professional necessities. One industry insider explained, "That was a time in Hollywood history when homosexuality was not countenanced. If it was revealed at that time in Hollywood history, it would have been very difficult for him to continue." Through their shared experience with Wood and the studio system's manipulation, Burr and Hunter's stories show Hollywood's complicated relationship with sexual identity. Anthony Perkins. Film noir created a dark world where Raymond Burr and Anthony Perkins thrived as actors. Their intense on-screen presence masked private lives hidden in secrecy. The 1940s and 1950s saw these performers navigate Hollywood's complex world of hidden identities and carefully crafted public images. Burr and Perkins loved playing complex, psychologically intense characters that highlighted their dramatic skills. Burr became a noir regular in films like Desperate 1947. He gave memorable performances as threatening villains. His roles in Raw Deal 1948 and other noir films showed his talent to bring psychological depth to morally complex characters. Perkins showed the same love for roles that revealed emotional vulnerability and psychological complexity. Critics praised his brooding performances. He knew how to show inner turmoil beneath an ordinary exterior. These actors used their dramatic talents to create public images that hid their true selves. One industry observer wrote, "Nothing about Raymond Burr pinged. His voice, mannerisms, and look never gave him away." Perkins kept up a similar front. People described him as having a sincere and vulnerable personality with a face that revealed emotions that lurked beneath the surface. Noir films matched their acting styles perfectly. These movies explored themes of deception, hidden motives, and characters with double lives. The noir world became a fitting professional home for actors who hid their authentic selves off-screen. Burr kept noir elements alive when he moved to television. His Perry Mason character had psychological depth and moral complexity that elevated the role beyond a simple hero. Charles Macaulay once said, "Raymond Burr really was Perry Mason. The two were one and the same." Media coverage of both actors used subtle coding that industry insiders saw as hints about their sexuality. Mainstream publications couldn't discuss homosexuality openly. Gossip columnists and reporters created special words to communicate certain truths without direct statements. Film historians now name both men among what one source calls the biggest closet cases in Hollywood. Some LGBTQ+ historians call September 12th Closet Day because it marks the death of both Perkins and Burr, along with Maurice Chevalier. News reports documented their interactions with carefully chosen words. A Hollywood Premiere report mentioned Burr accompanied by a beard and a newly returned sailor from Korea. These descriptions let informed readers understand the hidden meaning while maintaining deniability. The actors developed ways to avoid exposure. Perkins appeared in staged photos on arranged double dates. He and Tab Hunter would sit next to each other in movie houses with the girls flanking the outside. Burr created more elaborate stories, including made-up wives and a son who never existed. Hollywood insiders treated their sexuality as an open secret. Everyone in the industry knew, but never spoke about it publicly. Industry veteran Bob Thomas explained that homosexuality was not countenanced in Hollywood then. Coming out meant career death. Their personal struggles mirrored each other. Both men dealt with anxiety about their sexual orientation. Perkins suffered great anxiety over his sexual orientation and went through therapy to help overcome his attraction to other men. Burr wove what his biographer called a web of lies that was so intricate and so delicately woven. These actors shared more than a documented relationship. They lived similar experiences in an industry that rejected their true selves. Their noir performances, full of hidden depths and unspoken truths, mirrored the complex double lives they led throughout their careers. Donahue, with his blonde hair and blue eyes, represented a new kind of Hollywood heartthrob compared to Raymond Burr. These two actors reportedly shared a connection that stayed hidden from most people except their closest friends. Donahue became the face of teen idols who caught young audiences' attention in the late 1950s and early 1960s, while Burr had already built his reputation as a dramatic actor. Donahue and Burr seemed to live in completely different Hollywood worlds at first glance. Perry Mason ruled television screens while Donahue became what industry insiders called a dreamboat for teenage girls. Their big age difference made any public connection seem unlikely, which helped keep their private relationship under wraps. A mutual friend brought these two different worlds together. Donahue found peace at Burr's quiet Napa Valley estate, where they spent weekends away from Hollywood's prying eyes. Burr's stable position in Hollywood gave the younger actor something precious, a shield from an industry that often took advantage of its stars. Their connection ran deeper than physical attraction, according to sources who noted Donahue's draw to Burr's quiet strength and protection from the public eye. Burr became both a mentor and companion to the younger actor. Hollywood treated both men like products they could market. Henry Wilson, a powerful agent, specialized in creating ultra-masculine screen personas for his actors, no matter what their private lives looked like. He became known for concocting catchy names for his beefcake stable, often with a comically hyper-masculine ring. This system turned actors like Donahue into carefully crafted heterosexual icons. Hollywood's complex system of arranged heterosexual dates helped both actors keep up their marketable images. The industry had what one source calls a harem of beards to help with photo ops. These women, usually aspiring actresses, knew exactly what role they played in this elaborate act. Actress Debbie Reynolds spoke honestly about dating gay actors. "I liked them better. They weren't fresh. They were fun. They were sweet. They didn't come on to me." This setup worked for everyone. Studios protected their male stars while actresses got valuable publicity. Both actors lived under intense scrutiny from their career handlers. Agents like Wilson watched their clients closely, sometimes driving in the wee hours of the morning to monitor any unfamiliar cars parked in his boys' driveways. This level of monitoring shows how paranoid people were about possible exposure. Actors who couldn't stay in the spotlight found other ways to make money. Many turned to muscle magazine modeling, which served as the gay underground of that time. This alternative market provided income but risked exposure, a careful balance that both Burr and Donahue had to maintain throughout their careers. Donahue faced the same struggles as Burr. They both had to create public personas that hid their true selves. While we don't have much proof about their specific relationship, their story adds another layer to Hollywood's rich history of hidden identities and secret relationships. Robert Benavides. Robert Benavides became the most important person in Burr's life, despite rumors about Burr's connections with Hollywood celebrities. Their partnership lasted over 30 years and grew way beyond the reach and influence of a personal relationship into thriving business ventures and unwavering support. The Perry Mason set brought Burr and Benavides together in 1957. Benavides was a young actor and Korean War veteran. Some sources point to their first meeting around 1960. Benavides, who was born in 1930, was about 13 years younger than Burr. He continued his acting career until 1963, when he made a life-changing decision. Benavides found acting painful while Burr seemed naturally comfortable in front of cameras. Burr supported Benavides' wish to quit acting and said, "You've been doing production stuff for me already. You've been working on my scripts, you've been doing it all, why don't you just go into the production side?" This led Benavides to become a production consultant that worked on 21 Perry Mason TV movies. The couple's success extended beyond television. Their love of horticulture blossomed into a large orchid business with nurseries in Fiji, Hawaii, the Azores, and California. They became skilled at creating orchid hybrids, developing over 2,000 crosses and registering about 200 in the American Orchid Hybrid Catalog. California's Dry Creek Valley saw their first Cabernet Sauvignon vines planted in 1986. The vineyard grew and added Chardonnay and port wine grapes. They bottled their first vintage in 1992, just a year before Burr died. Apart from those, Raymond Burr is rumored to have dated Cesar Romero and Richard Chamberlain. But beneath that, he still had several marriages. Secret personal life. Raymond Burr's brief marriage to actress Isabella Ward was an intriguing but little-discussed episode in his early personal life. The two met for the first time in 1943, while both were in their formative years. Ward was a young student at the famed Pasadena Playhouse, a well-known California drama school that had launched the careers of many future stars. Burr, who had already established himself there, served as a tutor and guide to budding performers. Their first meeting paved the way for a bond that would reemerge some years later. Ward returned to California in 1947, having previously worked with a touring theater group. Her rekindled friendship with Burr swiftly developed into a love connection, culminating in their marriage on January 10, 1948. The pair married just as Burr was about to begin production on the 1948 picture Noir Pitfall, which would help cement his increasing name in Hollywood. Despite this professional impetus, the union's existence was brief. That same year, Burr and Ward appeared in a Pasadena Playhouse performance on the life of French artist Paul Gauguin. This performance demonstrated their shared passion for the theatrical arts, and for a little moment it appeared like their shared artistic activities might cement their friendship. However, the facts of their domestic situation quickly became apparent. After they married, Burr and Ward moved into a basement apartment in a vast Hollywood home that Burr shared with his mother and grandparents. The odd living situation, along with the intensity of Burr's job and family duties, most certainly put strain on their new marriage. Within a few months, the relationship had started to dissolve. Ward eventually returned to her native Delaware, seeking consolation and familiarity away from the strains of Hollywood. Their breakup became permanent. Although the actual divorce did not occur until 1952, the marriage had effectively dissolved long before then. Burr and Ward never remarried. They both had fulfilling lives, but they did so in their own unique ways. Ward, for her part, subsequently looked on their relationship with a combination of nostalgia and realism, noting the difficulties of maintaining a marriage in the whirlwind of Hollywood life. Years later, in 1960, Burr met the man who would become his most loyal and lifelong companion. While working on the set of the television program, Perry Mason Burr met Robert Benavides, a fellow actor with a strong interest in the arts and a quiet charm that appeared to suit Burr's powerful presence. Their connection was immediate and powerful, resulting in a collaboration that would last more than 3 decades. By 1963, Benavides had decided to retire from acting entirely, which corresponded with his growing participation in Burr's career and personal life. Instead of pursuing his own career in front of the camera, Benavides went behind the scenes, becoming a trusted production consultant on Perry Mason, and eventually playing the same role in 21 of the extremely popular Perry Mason TV movies made in the 1980s and early 1990s. Beyond Hollywood. Burr and Benavides co-created a rich and diverse existence based on their shared interests in horticulture commerce and calm country living. They started and ran a thriving orchid company which provided both revenue and delight. Their common love of nature finally inspired them to acquire a gorgeous property in California's Dry Creek Valley and start a vineyard. The pair immersed themselves in winemaking and vineyard management, building a life apart from Hollywood's bright lights. Their union, while emotionally dedicated and generally recognized by those close to them, was never officially acknowledged during Burr's lifetime due to the conservative and frequently harsh character of the entertainment industry in the mid-20th century. Nonetheless, their link was apparent and strong. When Burr died in 1993, Benavides had been at his side through years of career success, emotional grief, and health issues. Burr donated his whole inheritance to Benavides, demonstrating the depth of their connection and the trust and affection that constituted it. In the years following Burr's death, Benavides commemorated his legacy in a variety of ways, some of which were controversial. He renamed the Dry Creek Valley property Raymond Burr Vineyards, transforming it from a private hideaway into a commercial vineyard. According to some stories, Burr had expressed a preference for a quiet legacy over a public homage with the vineyard. Nonetheless, Benavides believed in honoring Burr's memory with both fans and wine connoisseurs, so he created a location that merged the actor's name with the couple's mutual love of the region. The vineyard ran effectively for years, until being sold in 2017, bringing an end to a highly intimate chapter in the lives of 2 men who had shared so much yet had to keep most of it hidden throughout their lifetimes. Burr's death in 1993 left his complete estate to Benavides, including all my jewelry, clothing, books, works of art, and other items of a personal nature. His decision left out all relatives, even his sister, nieces, and nephews. Benavides later named their vineyard Raymond Burr Vineyards, as a tribute, though Burr had not wanted this at the time. Benavides explained, "It was never my dream, it was his dream. It's a memorial to him, to his idea, and I think it deserves to be named after him." Hollywood circles at the time knew them differently. People referred to Benavides as Burr's business partner or friend. This showed the limitations same-sex couples faced during that era. Health, struggle, and death. During the spring of 1993, when Raymond Burr was filming his final Perry Mason television movie, a character that had grown synonymous with his name over several decades, he developed major health problems that became hard to ignore. Those closest to Burr and the production crew observed small changes in his physical condition and stamina, raising worries about his health. Initially, the nature of his sickness was not made public, but people around him could tell he was struggling. Burr has always been recognized for his professional devotion and perseverance, often overcoming obstacles to retain the quality and purity of his performances. However, this time the health problems were significant enough to interfere with his career. A spokeswoman for Viacom, which was supervising the Perry Mason projects at the time, made a statement to the media recognizing Burr's sickness. They tentatively hypothesized that his illness may be connected to renal cell carcinoma, an aggressive and deadly form of kidney cancer for which Burr underwent surgery in February of that year. This announcement surprised both fans and colleagues because Burr had kept his personal life pretty private and had not publicly Renal cell carcinoma is renowned for its sneaky nature, sometimes going undiscovered until it has advanced sufficiently, making Burr's diagnosis especially challenging. Following the initial surgery to remove the kidney tumor, medical examinations indicated a more bleak outlook. Unfortunately, it was discovered that the cancer had metastasized, moving from the kidney to Burr's liver. At this late stage, the cancer was pronounced inoperable, which meant that surgical intervention could no longer provide a cure or substantial disease management. This news was a terrible blow for Burr and those around him, as treatment choices were limited, and the disease's development posed a major risk to his life. Despite the dismal diagnosis, Raymond Burr handled his circumstances with extraordinary courage and elegance. Burr opted to spend his last months surrounded by close friends, family, and loved ones, knowing he only had so much time. In a moving sequence of events, he threw a number of goodbye parties, small gatherings where he could celebrate life, share memories, and show thanks to those who had supported him during his incredible career and personal journey. These farewells were bittersweet, showing both the tremendous affection that people felt for him and the certainty of his death. Raymond Burr died quietly on September 12, 1993, at the age of 76 on his property in Sonoma County near Healdsburg, California. His house there was more than simply a place to live. It was a refuge where he could find a peace in his dying days, surrounded by the natural beauty of the region he adored. Burr's death signaled the end of an era in television and cinema, since he was not only a famous actor who defined legal drama with Perry Mason, but also a popular character revered for his professionalism, modesty, and generosity. His death was keenly felt by fans, worldwide colleagues, and the entertainment industry as a whole, confirming his reputation as one of the most lasting and renowned performers of his period. Which old Hollywood actor do you think hid a powerful personal story we've yet to fully hear? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you found this story meaningful, like the video, subscribe for more honest looks at Hollywood history, and share it with someone who loves film and the real people behind it.